I would like to stress my mom, my chairperson for today, Dr. Chief Doctor. I wanted to say Dr. Chief. Can you remind me? Please, we will need you to come and join the convener. We are having the teens to give us their panel session right about now. So please, we will be bringing you back. So while she's doing that, we'll be taking a message from one of our sponsors. We are back. Welcome back for that brief commercial break. We are forming like we're in the studio right now. For those who were viewing us online, didn't see what happened, all of a sudden our stage, our platform has been transformed. You'll now find this thin-looking lady sitting up here to discuss with us and to inform us. I will leave the introduction to the world-famous coach herself. If you see her last name, everybody tries to ignore it, so they just call her Coach Didi for short. Ladies and gentlemen, for the team panel conversation, I'm handing you in the hands of our lovely moderator, the lady with the angelic voice and extra energy, to my other sister again that is here today. Put your hands together for Coach Didi.
Thank you. Bro, we need the slides on, man. Help me help you. Yeah? Okay, so we have like half an hour with you guys, or 45 minutes max, so indulge us, please. This was a fantastic initiative by Gang, because I actually complained. I said, all these emotional issues, you know that the teens, they have issues too. And I wanted the teens to have their perspective by themselves, to tell us about it, right? So this is the title of it. System Reset, Redesigning the Teen Experience. So let me start by, all these, I teach in different schools, right? So they all come under Carmel Academy, and I asked any of them who wanted to be on the panel, and they volunteered. So these are from them. So I'm going to start with you guys, okay? But let's set the tone. You're going to tell me your name, your school, your age, and then you don't have to tell me your age. Name and school, and then 2 words max. 2 words max. See how they're nervous. See how they're just looking at it. 2 words max that summarizes the teen experience. 2 words max that summarizes the teen experience. I normally have my ball that I throw at people, but I can't do that here because I might be sued. So I'll just give it to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fumilayo Adilano, and I'm in the Lagoon School. And 2 words max that summarize the teen experience, I would say stressful and growth.
Morning, everyone. My name is Catherine Chibufue. I'm in Lagoon School, and I would say 2 words that summarize teen experience: misunderstood and ever-changing.
My name is Parallel Awade, and I go to the Lagoon School. 2 words that would describe the teen experience is dynamic and interesting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anajiti Akemu. I attend the Lagoon School. So 2 words I think that summarize the teen experience is eventful and impactful.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jadel Ogebe, and 2 words I think would describe teen experience is exciting and confusing.
My name is Johnson Bolton, and I go to the Lagoon School. 2 words that I say will represent the teen experience is pressure and expectations.
Nice. Right. So, by the way, none of these panelists have any idea what I'm going to ask them. So that's how I train them, right? So they just have to be. They're 8, SS1 to SS3. Yeah. Women don't say their age. All right. So there was a time, right, when people could just log off, right? Today, it feels like if you're not available, you're invisible. So I like music. I have to listen to some music. So, dude, could you put the sound for me while I play this song? Let's move on. So we're talking about this system reset, right? So let's analyze the system. I'm going to ask you guys 5 questions on this part. We have to identify what is broken. Yeah? So, first question. If your life was an app, what's the most annoying bug right now? If your life was an app, what's the most annoying bug right now? Where is my ball? I want to throw a ball. You're up first.
Okay, glitches. Yeah, I think glitches in the sense that different things can just take a turn for the worse or for the better, and there's not really much you can do about it except accept it.
I feel like the most annoying bug, if my life was an app, is like functions that keep stopping, things that stop working. Because you find yourself in different situations and you know what you're supposed to do, but at the same time, you can't seem to be able to do what you need to do to solve the problem.
If it was a bug, I think it would be the pressure because everyone is worried about how they'd be in the future because all their current actions affect how their life will look like. So they'd be worried whether they're not doing enough to succeed or whether or not they made a mistake. So now every choice makes you unsure.
If my life was an app, I think the most annoying bug would be that the off button doesn't work at the moment. So the app can be turned off. It just constantly keeps going. And at this point in my life, I feel like, you just need a break sometimes, but it doesn't work.
If my life was an app, the most annoying bug would be when too many tabs are open and when it's running too much. Because at some point, the system needs to shut down and take a time to rest or reboot. But when people are asking things of you constantly, you want to sleep, you're seeing a message, have you done this homework? Have you copied this notes? Have you done this? So that would be the most annoying bug.
If my life was an app, the most annoying bug is probably expectations. Expectations I have of myself and expectations that everyone around me has of me. And I have to uphold those expectations.
All right, see, the questions weren't that hard. You guys were panicking. Simple questions I was going to ask you. You're busy panicking. Second question. What does being available 24/7 look like in your real life? Real life, not theory, as you know. What does being available 24/7 look like in your real? This is their chance to tell your parents. No, that's a national TV. They may get upset, right? But anyway, what does it look like? Europe.
I believe it looks like, for instance, in the leadership role I hold in my school, I'm always needed like a lot of the time to help people, help them solve their problems. And then sometimes you just need somebody to help you solve your own problems. So I think that's where obviously our parents come in. So it just feels like very overwhelming sometimes. And I feel like you need to give yourself a break. You need to know when to give yourself a break and know when to work hard and know when to give yourself a break, because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Being available 24/7 looks like, in my own world, always having people asking things of me. So it could be like 10 p.m. and I'm hearing, oh, I have physics assignments due the next day when I'm supposed to be asleep. So it's really a big problem.
To me, it feels like being subject to people's decisions and opinions because people are constantly asking of you things that would require knowledge. Like they would need assistance in an assignment, a project, even though you could be tired you still want to do the right thing and help other people out.
Okay, thank you. So remember, we're talking about what's broken, right? The last question in this segment of what's broken. Everybody must answer this because this is, I think, goes to the cocoa of what this panel is about. Where do you feel the most pressure to perform? In your school, on social media, in your family, or friends? Where do you feel the most pressure to perform? School, social media, family, or friends?
Okay, well, so I personally, I feel like I feel the most pressure to perform in school because in school, I always have to be like on top of my academics, on top of my schoolwork, on top of everything. I feel like to me, school comes first out of everything in media, friends, all of that. My education comes first.
So, if you asked me this question 2 years ago, I would obviously pick friends. But growing up and realizing that you need to be able to do something with your life, I feel like now more of the pressure is on school, academics, being able to succeed, to become somebody that both I want to become and who my parents would want me to become. So I feel like there's pressure on both my family life and my academic life in school.
So I value each perspective that was offered, but for me personally, I feel that it should be to myself. Because on looking outward, everyone would expect you to have the ideal life, to have a good amount of friends, to have good grades, to be in a sport, just so you can land the ideal job in the future. Everyone has these expectations of you, so I feel like it's hard sometimes to keep them up because like it feels like the world is laying down on you. So it's like an invisible burden.
Personally, I feel the most pressured when it comes to school because I always try my best to get the best grades. But it's also very important, obviously, because if you get bad grades, you won't get into a good university, you won't pass your exams. And it's very, very important for me personally with school. I feel friends are also on almost on the same level, but not like on the same level. But personally, I feel most pressured with school.
Okay, I feel like most pressure school and family life because I'm in school, of course, you have to be on top of your academics, your notes, your assignments. You can't let anything really take that place in importance. But family life also because there are certain expectations that like your family has for you to fulfill. And if you like fall short of it, you're kind of pressured to measure up to their expectations. And let's say like you have to fulfill things that they've already set out for you.
So for me, it's school and family life. School because I have to be on top of everything, and there's always a pressure to do very well in school, and so that you can get a good job, so that you can get into a good university. Then family life, for one thing, I'm the oldest sibling, so I have an expectation to be an example to my younger siblings, and other things that my parents expect of me.
Thank you so much for that. So that ends the first session of What's Broken. Now we're going to go into, it's kind of deep, yeah? This is about the emotional reality, right? So we're talking about this always being on, this on button, right? The system overload, always being on. So do you think social media creates more connection or more pressure? Do you think social media creates more connection or more pressure?
Okay, so I feel like me personally, I feel like it depends on how you handle it. Because if you want to genuinely want to connect with your friends or make friends online, you kind of have to filter out what you look at and what you read and what you let into like your algorithm. Because there's definitely that aspect of creating pressure, setting unrealistic expectations for you to live up to. But if you know how to handle it, then basically I think it's more connections.
So I feel like, because for me personally, social media doesn't really affect me like that, because in my situation, the friends I've met some of the best people online, so to say. So me personally, I feel like it depends on people you meet online and how they react to you and how they converse with you, how they connect with you, and not just based on social media as a general.
It depends on how you use social media. So it depends on the type of content that you view, what you use it for. So if I, for me, I use it more for social connections. And another person, social media could be more setting unnecessary pressure and expectations because of how the person has decided to use the apps.
So I personally feel that it's somewhere in between, depending on who is like being allowed on social media. Social media can be a place that can expose you to different things, whether good or bad. It can give you different opportunities and you can meet the best people you will ever meet off social media. I personally use social media as a way to showcase what I'm good at, to see people that are better than me in what I want to do, which is like art and everything, then become inspired to be better. So it depends on the way you choose to use social media. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to use it to make myself better, then you'll be better. But if you allow the pressures of seeing how good other people's lives are, then I think it would add more pressure to your life.
Okay. So while we're waiting for that, because I had some more correct music, but you won't be able to hear it. I'm waiting for that to come up. Next question. What's harder? Failing publicly? Failing publicly or struggling privately? Failing publicly or struggling privately?
I think struggling privately is harder than failing publicly. But okay. So imagine you have this goal that you've been working towards for like a good 2 to 3 years. You've been working, you're trying, but you're just not getting that particular results that you want, and you know the amount of work that you're putting in. You know what that you're doing everything you can possibly do, but you're just not getting there. It's different from and failing toward yourself is different from failing other people. I feel like failing yourself is worse than failing other people personally, because at the end of the day, you're your own person. You are not attached to anybody else in the world. You came in as one and you're going to leave as one. So I feel like if you fail yourself, you're failing yourself. You're not failing anybody else. But that's worse than failing anybody else, personally.
So I feel like failing yourself is harder than failing other people, because you are your own person, yes. So when you fail yourself and you struggle privately, you battle different emotions, you battle different things on your own. It's better to fail publicly, because if you fail publicly, there are still people around you that will be able to comfort you, people that will be able to help you. But if you keep that all inside and struggle by yourself, it's self-threatening. Like holding all those emotions in one place, it can't be good for you. It leads to different problems, thinking down on yourself, and eventually spiraling to the point that you wouldn't be able to get yourself back up again. So failing yourself is failing completely.
Okay. I feel like failing privately is way worse than failing publicly, because as they said before, like you are your own person, of course. You have goals that you set for yourself. Let's say that you want to be like, by 2028, I should have done this, I should have these achievements, and then you just can't reach those goals. I feel like you feel all these emotions that you can't tell anybody about, because they may look at it as, it's just a small thing now. It's okay. But to you, it can be like everything that you have actually set your whole life's work for. And when you start spiraling, you start harboring all these sadness, hate, and anger in yourself. You can't tell anybody. That's worse than failing in public, and then everybody's saying, you're like, oh, sorry, don't worry, we'll help you. So that is definitely worse.
From my perspective, struggling privately would be worse than failing publicly because, at least in a public settings, there are people around you who can support you, lend you your hand, or encourage you to do better. But when you fail in a private setting, you're left there by yourself with your own thoughts, pondering whether or not you could have been better or whether or not you didn't put in enough effort or energy into what you were doing.
For for me, struggling privately is worse. When you fail publicly, you can just get it over with. Maybe if people may laugh, people may decide to comfort you, but that's based on the external thing. But then when you're struggling privately, it's between you and yourself. And a big determiner of how people perceive you is what you feel on the inside or how you see yourself. So if you're struggling privately and or you feel or you don't achieve your goals privately, it really affects you more than when other people see you struggle.
Struggling privately, as they have all said, is worse because that honestly has to be the worst thing to ever exist. Because when you struggle privately, you have you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, and that there's nothing you can do. That you feel like the whole world is against you. But when you feel publicly, you realize that there are people that are actually there for you, that want to help you to become better, and want you to help yourself.
Okay, thank you for that. What advice would you give your younger self that you wish? Remember, this is R-rated. Right? What advice would you give your younger self that you wish someone said earlier? What advice would you give your younger self that you wish someone said earlier?
So the advice I would give to my younger self is to not change themselves for anyone and just stay true to who they are. Don't care about other people's opinion. Don't let it affect you. Don't let it affect the way you think. Because at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is yours.
So I think the advice I would give my younger self is to listen to right person, wrong time. Somebody can be your right person, but you're the wrong person. Now, I used to be, my life used to revolve around, does this person like me? Does this person want to be friends with me? And that ended in me trying to become someone that I wasn't. I was trying to do things that I wouldn't normally do just to fit into the social standards, so just to fit into that clique, just to do this, do that. I let go of who I was to become friends with people that didn't value me as a person. I would tell my younger self now, don't be afraid of the future. Don't be scared. Just things will happen if they are meant to be. If it's God's will, it will happen. You don't have to overwork yourself. You don't have to burn yourself out to fit into a standard that seems impossible just because you want to be something now. You want to be someone that you're.
Some advice I would give my younger self is number one, that I shouldn't care about other people's opinions. When I was younger, I used to care about people's opinions so much. My mom had to literally separate me from some of the friends that I used to hang out with. So I would tell her not to care about people's opinions. Tell people things that they need to hear without feeling, oh, am I going to hurt this person's feelings? So I would also tell her not to be afraid of the people around you, not to be afraid of doing things, because unfortunately, there are so many things that I have been afraid to do, and it has limited me as a person. Then the third thing I will tell my younger self is to hold on to God and not depart from the way, because I feel like when I was younger, I didn't really care about being Christian and everything, and it would have helped me a lot if I had stayed on that line.
Nice. Okay, so they've been rushing me. These people, they're rushing me. I'm in the teen groove. I'm feeling teeny. But okay, I have to wrap it up. But you say something quick.
Okay, I would tell my younger self to pick who she stays with more intention, because I feel like I did not know that people who were around me before, they didn't value me for who I was. and that some people are haters, just complete haters. Because you can be doing something that is like basically really important to you, and they can come to you and be like, what are you doing? That is not making any sense, stop it. And then you can stop what you love to do just because someone said that it's not cool. So I would say that she should listen to herself, and she should stop caring so much about what people think of her and what they call what she does.
I would tell my younger self not to compare myself to other people because I don't have to be perfect. Because to me, someone else could look like they have their life going well for them. Everything could be ideal. They could be popular, very smart. They could do a sports, and everything will look ideal. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everything is going all right with them. They might be struggling, and I won't know about it. So I shouldn't just make careless comparisons. Instead, I should focus on being my own person. Because one thing I should prioritize above all else is myself. Choosing myself over everybody and anyone every single day, and making that choice to love myself despite what anyone says.
Okay. I would tell my younger self two things. One, suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. If you don't work towards what you want, you're not going to get it. And then you think, oh, I could have done this if I did this, if I worked hard, if I did this. Then two, treat life as something to be lived, not something to be performed. Don't perform for other people. Live your life the way you want to live it.
Clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it, clock it. Are we clocking it? We dey clock 'em. Make we dey clock 'em. All right, so music time. Sorry, we ended with music.
Big round of applause. So when I tell you this, my older sister here, she's not. I don't understand. I should continue your presentation. Click it. No, me, I want to clock it. It is well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please a big round of applause to Coach Didi. And a bigger round of applause to our lovely things here to hear them speak. I know when you were their age, most of us can't even stand. By the time you stand, you start talking. Yes, okay, please rise. Show them, look behind you, please, give them. Yes, my daughter is one of them. I've told you I have family in this event all around. I don't understand. Is it that I'm too young to have a daughter? No, but seriously, when you hear them speak, you now realize most times, some of us, if we give you a microphone, come and stand and look at these numerous people here. Plenty, your leg will start shaking this way. You know how you coach people, you tell them what to do. So that is it. So please, a big round of applause once more. So without much ado, I would like to, we've given talks. Sometimes there's a way we deliver words. There's a way we deliver speeches. We give poetry, we listen to music, we watch movies. It's all an art. And it's just not an ordinary art, it's also a wonderful style. Ladies and gentlemen, this next person coming up on stage, she is an award-winning consultant, a social entrepreneur, a gender advocate with years of experience at the intersection of public policy, mining, communications, and disability inclusion. She is the CEO of April Benjamin and Dawn Communications Limited, also the Executive Director of Empathy Driven Women International Initiative, author of 3 books with U.S. Library of Congress approval, a TED Talk speaker, a spoken word poet, and sought-after conference speaker on gender, leadership, disability inclusion, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you another of my family member. Please put those hands together for the one and only, for Adia Uri Ugozi Chukwu. To show that another family member, I want to work with her all through so that you see what we are doing. Keep clapping while we keep walking. Thank you.
Hello, ladies. Wow. I would like my music to come on first. DJ, give us some music. I wrote the song 6 years ago. And believe it or not, it was performed by a woman on wheelchair. This is a song. Nobody else could sing the song the way that I would want than Grace Jerry. Grace Jerry is on wheelchair. She's amazing. When this song comes on, you would understand that when you see someone living with a disability, see beyond the disability, see the ability, see the talent, see the passion, see the finesse of those people. Can I have my song number 2? Can I have my song? Okay. So while I wait for the song to come, I'm going to perform what I call I Am Enough. I Am Enough is the epilogue of my book called Psychedelic, So When Is It Okay? And it's been performed by quite a few people, but people keep telling me, stop letting people perform your spoken word. Perform it yourself because you wrote it. And so here it goes. I am enough. I am not to be dismissed, misused, discarded, disregarded. I am royalty and I should be treated as one. There are so many unique ways that make us enough. Each and every one of us, we come with our own enough. Words are our slaves, not our masters. And so when they are well spun, they bring clarity to who we are and to what we are and to what we mean. So I am not about to allow myself to be put in the cookie clutter, whether I fit or misfit, whether I am unfit, because I am enough. So here it goes, people. Whether I come in ebony, or I come in ivory, or I come in different shades of melanin, or none at all, like my friend over there, my friends living with albinism with no melanin. However I come, I am enough. I may come with my legs as straight as a palm tree. I may also come with my legs when they love each other so much, they can't stay apart. They call them knock knees. Sometimes, they can't stand the sight of each other. Well, they can't even look at each other. And they give me a majestic bow. However it is, I am enough. Now, I may also come with my nose covering half my face. Sometimes my nose may be bent like a bird's beak. Sometimes it can even resemble Miss Piggy's nozzle. Other times it might be pointed like an arrow. However I come, I am enough. Now, I may come with my stomach flat and firm, ready to incubate a child. Other times I metamorphose in folds and love handles and dimples after their duties are done. And my breasts, once pointed like an arrow, are facing downwards after their duties are done. However it is, I am enough. Now, you feel me? You feel it? Now, they call them love handles, and I've come to love them ever since they appeared to decorate my waist like beads. I am enough. You see, I am not about to get into the conference of not enough, for I know the call to action to such convergence. Perhaps if I was a little shorter, a little taller, a little lighter. No, I'm not about to get into that. Because I understand that it's only this. It's just a covering. It's just what I want to wear as I traverse this part of the earth. It covers my beauty. It covers my grace. It houses my magnificence. It houses my intricacies. It houses my delicateness. It houses my beautiful self and soul. It's just a covering. So I am enough. So next time, when you see me, and when you look at yourself in the mirror, you know that you are enough. You know why? Who sets the rules on who is enough? Who sets the rules on what makes you enough? You set the rule. I set the rule on what makes me enough. And so, people, I am enough. Thank you.
I am enough. I am enough. I am enough.
see the voice? That was Grace Jerry. She's on wheelchair. She's talented. When I wrote that song, I knew only her voice could do justice to that song. You are enough. You are appealing, you're captivating, you're fascinating, you are charming, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, okay? Thank you.
Did you listen? So you can see now, when we talk about listening, this next segment, we are having a panel discussion right now. And we've gathered men with timber and caliber, plywood and concrete, that when you mix them all together, when you hear them talk, you will know people are speaking.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Are you happy? Are you sure you're happy? That is the essence of this conference for this year. And I have a beautiful lineup of panelists, and we'll be talking through certain things that affect women, their careers, their life, their work, so that we can gain insights as women, right? I want to ask a question. For us all here seated as women, we've been talking about emotional well-being, making sure that we are in a state of mind where we can progress in life, where we can flourish. But do we actually take care of ourselves emotionally? Do we actually look at ourselves and say, okay, I need to take care of myself? Because most times what we see happen is that we tend to take care of everybody else. We tend to take care of our families, our children, our husbands, our parents, And then that moment you decide, okay, I think probably, let me go to the spa. You now have this guilty conscience of, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm spending money. I can invest this money somewhere else. Okay, the children need to change their shoes. Let me not go to the spa. Let me buy shoes for the children. Does that happen to us? Why? Why do you put yourself last? So when are you going to start taking care of yourself? When? Right? So these are the things we need to start asking ourselves. Like, we need to take care of ourselves and not feel guilty about it. Doesn't mean you should not also tend to your family, but you should also include yourself in the plan. And not always exclude, if there's change, you now buy something for yourself. No. All right? Okay. So we'll now move on to our panelists, and the question we'll be asking them is, this is a question, a general question for all of you that you get to answer. Are there microphones? Is that okay? Yeah, sure. Okay, so what is your definition of success? And the other side of the coin, how then do you define failure? Because sometimes success means different things for different people. All right? Like for a market woman now, that she sells all her markets wear in a day is success for her. Right? And then somebody in an industry would not regard that as success. So does success vary? What does it look like?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to share my insights with everyone. And well done to the teen panel. I was blown away. I have 2 daughters in primary school, so perhaps I should be best friends with Coach Didi. And thank you to the convenience of this amazing conference. I've been smiling all through, so if that's not already emotional well-being in progress, I don't know what is. But to your question, you said it all. Success is defined differently by different people. And how I'd like to really just put it simply is, success is when your expectations matches your outcomes. On the flip side is when your expectations don't match your outcomes, but then you fail to learn from that. Because failure will happen in different forms. But when you fail to learn from that failure, that gap, that's when true failure is defined. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, the same question.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. Just building on that, for me, success is
I don't look at the activity and the outcome again as success, because I just realized as we grow older, there are a lot of things that we can't control in life. And there are some things that we want, some desired outcomes. And when you think about the process you have been taking to meet that goal, you find out that you've done everything possible, but the goal hasn't been reached. But then you've grown from it. There's been positive outcomes for it. And then I don't want to say that is a failure because I didn't reach the goal. So what I define as success is, who am I as I go through whatever I'm going through? Am I true to myself? Am I true to my values? I have key values that I'm always talking about: diligence, excellence, hard work, integrity. Am I keeping those values in whatever I'm going through in life? Am I giving joy to other people? Am I ensuring the people around me? And so for me, that is what success is. So I always try and, I'm a high achiever, so I always want to succeed. I want the goal, I'm very ambitious, but at the end of the day, I don't want to beat myself over something that I cannot control. And so that's why success for me is staying true to myself as I go through different things in life. Am I being, if I can answer that question positively, then I was successful. Failure, on the other hand, is the same thing. Can I recognize myself at the end of this thing? Did I have to shrink my ambitions? Did I have to shrink myself? Did I have to shrink my goals to fit someone else's definition of success? Because whether you like it or not, you work hard, you want that promotion, you want to pass that exam. Sometimes it doesn't happen, you get, and then you say, oh, I failed. If I worked hard, if I did everything I was supposed to do, I did not fail. Maybe it was just not my time. And so for me, failure is also making sure that I was true to myself. I worked hard. I did everything I was supposed to do. That is, if I did not, that means I failed. Yeah. And that's where I'll stop for now. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
And thanks so much for the invitation. For me, I want to look at success, and in a world where most of the time we are influenced by others. So success is about writing your own story. And failure, on the other hand, is letting another person hold the pen. I hope that...
Please say it again. Elaborate.
So success is writing your own story, while failure is letting another person hold the pen. Because when others hold the pen, they define, you've given them the power. So just to break it down a bit, for me, success is about impact. How are people experiencing you? It's about experience. It's about how you're making others feel and how you make yourself feel most of the time. Because as women, we tend to beat ourselves too much. But we're actually making progress. So failure, on the other hand, is about giving up. When you surrender, then that is failure. So you need to keep trying and making progress, because at every point in time, you don't remain at the same level. There's that progress. So you need to give yourself grace. So let me conclude it by saying that success is about giving yourself grace in your journey, and make sure that you don't surrender. It is when you give up and you surrender that you have actually failed. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sincerely, after these wonderful definitions, I don't know what else to say because everything that needs to be said has actually been said, really. So success is just about the alignment, that we have with ourselves after, we do certain things. And failure is just remaining down there, not learning from what seemingly looks like a failure. Just learning from it,
learning from the challenges and moving on is not a failure. Rather, if that thing seemingly fails, learning from it and, making it better, standing up, again to move on is actually where the good thing is. Now, like I said, they've said all the things that need to be said. I think I just want to use a story to express mine. And this was when I was much younger in my career, when I just started. I was living very far away from my workplace. At that point, I had 2 children. By the way, today I have 4, but then I had 2. And every morning I would leave. By the time I leave the house, these children would be sleeping. The weather would be dark. I would just leave them for my house help and I'll go to work. By the time I'm back, they've slept. I would come home like feeling very bad. On weekends, when I see my children, they were looking very strange. Very strange because they would look unkempt, and I was hearing they were going to school around 9 a.m. Like everything was just like that. But a point came. The money wasn't there. We're just, I was just trying to manage. At a point in time, at the office, they paid me 700K then for, was it like car allowance or something? That was all I had. Like, what happened? Is it too much? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
One house.
So they paid that money. And I was torn between going for my master's and moving to a closer location to the office, which was apparently much more expensive. But that 700K was going to help me. But it's either I use it to pay for the first installment of my master's, which I wanted to do an international MBA at that time, versus going to a closer place and being a true mother to my children. I made the decision of moving to that place. We moved to the place with that money, like pouring everything. The house was empty. But I was happy. The first morning I woke up and I could see my children. I could bathe them, take them to school and go to work. I felt so fulfilled. Like for me, it was success. The MBA was not the problem. Today I have it. So it was not the problem. So I think for me, that was success at that point in time. Failure for me was just, was for me remaining there and beating myself. Exactly.
Feeling bad at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Feeling like a bad mom, and at the end of the day, maybe I'm not also delivering at work because I can't really balance it. So for me, that was basically success. So I think you get it. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So from what I've gathered from what you've said, what you said was that success is when you meet your expectations. So you make out plans, you do projections, you do out 5-year plans, 10-year plans, you work towards it and you achieve it, or you aim to achieve it. And you also mentioned that you may not even achieve it, but the success is that you're making the effort. Because one thing I would want us to know is that we may not be where we want to be, but there is progress. Do you understand? We are not where we used to be 5 years ago. We've grown, right? So that's also success. So let's not beat ourselves and say, okay, I am not yet at the peak of my career or at the zenith of what I want to achieve in life, and you beat up yourself. And that was what you said, that you give yourself grace. Do you understand? So you have to give yourself grace to say that, okay, I am doing well. I just have to keep on doing what I'm doing well, so that one day I will get to my success point, And then what you lastly said, which we are going to also talk about, balancing career, balancing that family life and career, that will even make you successful. Because if you feel that you're not successful as a mother, you cannot achieve any other thing you want to do, because that will always draw you back. No matter what success you get at your workplace, knowing that you're not a good mother at home, you've not got it. As a woman, it's always like that for us. Maybe for the men, it's different, which is what we are going to be seeing in the next question. Do you think women have a different measure of success in comparison to men? And if so, why? So do you think some things should change or even remain the way they are?
Thank you for that question. Yes, for women, defining success is a lot harder. It's a lot harder. And that's because as women, we wear many hats. And some of those hats are put on us. It's almost like whether you like it or not, you have to wear it. The society also puts a lot of pressure on women to define success as a successful mom, a successful wife, a successful daughter, before anything else. So before you even get to the workplace, if you are not well defined, you're not married and you are, you're not successful. You don't have children, you're not successful. Your husband is not happy with you, you're not successful. So that's the social burden that we women face, and we have to overcome, not just for us, but for our daughters that are coming after us. We need to begin to change that narrative that says that women must be defined, or their success must be defined just within the home. Yes, we need to start changing that narrative. So, yes, women define success differently from men because, again, men don't have to wear all those many hats. They are mostly defined by their financial outcomes, right? So it's easier for them to then say, I'm successful, and people agree with them that they are successful because of that. So I'll just pause here to allow the other speakers to add on.
I'm not going to add because I think you said it all. I'll just add a bit. And that is, I totally agree with you. And I think it's a society. Society has defined men's success so differently from women. So what happens is you see a man and nobody asks him if he's married, if he has kids, or that sort of thing. As long as he wears a good suit and things like that, and it's he looks successful. Unlike a woman, even as successful as she looks, she will still be asked questions. Oh, is she married? Or they are peeping to see whether there's a ring on her finger. Or the next question is, how many kids? Or that sort of thing. So I think it's our duty to, start breaking that stigma. That's one thing I want to say. There's something I'm really passionate about, and it's something I do in my own foundation, and that is in the area of infertility. And what I've seen also is women, the pressure is also on women, because it just seems like the woman bears the brunt of that, burden, let me put it that way. But the guys, nobody asks any questions. They just feel, okay, meanwhile, you might be firing blanks, nobody cares. Well, it's always the women. So please, the society, we as the society, we need to put an end to that stigma. Success, like I said, is not even about the end goal. It's about the end goal, yes, but it's also about what have you done? How true to yourself are you staying? Thank you.
This is a tough one because I'm just observing the men in our midst. And when you made the comment around the fact that of how success is measured, that men don't wear different hats. I saw the body expression. And I want to balance that. Success should be measured by value created and not based on gender. But I think in our society, and we also need the men, to be the advocate, to not measure successful women based on expectations from women. It should not be gender-based. It should be equity and equality, right? So that everyone is given the same level playing ground. Everyone is given the same opportunity. And we need to just deal with it's a mindset shift that we need. But let's not forget, when we want to measure success, let's just base it on the value the individual is creating. And that helps everyone, to have a fair share of opportunities in every area. So I hope the men are happy now.
So, in reality today, is success same measure for men and women? No. Is it proper? Is it ideal? No. Does it need to be changed? Yes. It definitely needs to be changed. But unfortunately, what we experience is totally different. Respect to all our men here, but the experience that we go through is something that they don't fully understand. At work, you have a male colleague. You even know you are doing better, but he keeps getting the promotion. You're still there. He gets promoted 3 times. You know you're not doing anything wrong. Really, you know it is your work, the outcome, your results that is making the organization feel like, oh, wow, we are doing so well. But because he's a man, he gets the promotion. Because he knows how to play the politics. Because we are gentle. Because if we talk, our emotions might come in, and then we try to manage ourselves, and be demure. But at the end of the day, it kind of now looks like she's not able to handle this. But that is not the truth. So the system really needs to help us redefine success, to be more humane, to really look into what women go through and help us to also find that satisfaction at the end of whatever it is that we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so what we're saying is that, I like what she said, that success should be gauged by, what the outputs, so what everybody has put out. So either, like what you're saying, either is from the male counterpart or the female, it should be success all round. And I also appreciate what both of you have said when you said that women wear many hats. And that is where that gender inequality comes in at the workplace. Because for a woman, what is going on in her head? She has like 20 tabs open in her head at each point in time. She's not thinking of just one thing. Her laptop may be open at work, but she's thinking of, okay, there's PTA meeting next week. Oh, I need to go to the market. We need to change the light bulb that is bad in the kitchen. All these things going on in her head. But if we bring the man and ask him what he's thinking of, it's just that memo he needs to send that he's thinking of at that moment in time, right? So most times women, like you said, we wear many hats. At home, we are the chef, we are the cook, we are the driver, we are the doctor, we are the lawyer, we are everything. That's what we mothers are at home. But daddy comes home. Fantastic. Okay. So daddy comes home. It's a different thing. I don't want to put our daddies down because daddies are the providers, the fathers, the men are the providers. So they go out and they actually provide. But the truth is that in this century, women are also now becoming providers, right? Women are now also becoming providers. And nobody is taking off that role she used to have as a woman when it was just the man providing. All right, so there even needs to be a balance at home to make it easy for the woman to succeed at work, right? Because I see situations whereby the woman carries everything, she comes back home, and she's just overwhelmed. She's just overwhelmed. So we'll still talk about it as we go further with the questions. I don't know if our panelist that is online would want to contribute and add to what we've just said. Or okay, maybe she will add, maybe the next question. Is she good to go? All right. You're muted, ma'am. You're muted. Unmute yourself so that we can hear you. Sorry? Okay. Please let her in know. And unmute her.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Can you hear me, please? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be joining you. I wanted to speak on such great insights from early speakers in terms of what success means and whether the scale is fun. I have a different perspective, which is, I mean, I completely agree with what everyone has shared. Very, very valid points. Scale is definitely not on the same starting point for both men and women. But I think even within women as well, the scale of success means different things. So for some women, it's marriage. For some women, it's building wealth. For some women, it's building an organization from the ground up. From some women, it's raising their children from age 1 to the age 20 or seeing their children get married. So I think the first thing we should think about as women, whether in corporate, in business, in daily life, is really what does success mean to me. And I think, can you hear me? Oh, I'm not sure if you can still hear me. Okay, I hope you can still hear me. And I think that would be the best determinant for whether or not there's a tipping scale. If we start as women in corporate, especially if you are in a male-dominated field, with the understanding or the idea that you are already there's a bias on you. You continue to grow on that trajectory, expecting that there's a bias on you. But I always think that you can do your best work. Obviously, there are clear biases. You have to address them, whether from the system, from the organizational side, legally, whichever way. But I think in our own personal thoughts and our own mindsets, we should not consider ourselves women, so to speak. We should consider ourselves professionals. We should consider ourselves experts. We should consider ourselves caregivers. We should consider ourselves mothers. And that already puts us ahead rather than starting to think, oh, there's already a bias against me. So I have to, it puts you in a place of always being defensive rather than being at your best productive level. I really hope you've been able to hear me. I'm not sure, but I'll chime in on the next question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I hope we understand what she said, that even if we find ourselves in that kind of playing field with the men, we should still go ahead to put in our best. It could change one day, maybe in our lifetime, maybe in the lifetime of our young teens here, where things are there's a level playing ground for both men and women. Okay, so the last question that I'm going to be giving to all of you will be, you are all at the top of your careers right now, and among the best at what you do, right? So is this the life you envisioned for yourself? Is this where you, like maybe 20 years ago, where you are thinking of, okay, who you're going to be in future? Is that who you are right now? So I'll start with you.
Thank you for that question. Yes and no. No, because I wanted to be a doctor. Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. I grew up in a family of doctors, several doctors. So it was what I had wanted for myself. So pharmacy is the yes, because I wanted to still be in the healthcare space. I just thought it would be as a doctor. But to the glory of God, as a pharmacist, I still work in the healthcare space. And I'm still able to live the dream that I wanted for myself, which was to really impact in the lives of other people. So yes and no. And I think the story there is, number one, sometimes we have a particular plan for ourselves and we say, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go. That vision is important. You must have a vision. that vision of where you want to be in the short term, in the long term is very important, right? But we must also understand that it's life. And the plans or the activities or the road to get to that vision might change. It might change. But for me, with God on my side, wherever I go leads me to where I need to be. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
So, looking back, I think this is the life I envisioned for myself. In this, the process was not the way, but when I think back and I'm like, yes, I've always wanted to be in the corporate space. I always wanted to be much as possible international, global. I didn't know how. I think that's the first place. I didn't know how, but I'm a woman of faith, and my faith has something that has driven me for years, since I was 18. And that's the beauty about it when you start from a young age, when you start soul searching at a young age, you can make your mistakes and, quickly get yourself back up on track. It's been, but one thing I will say, and I say this to encourage people out here, sometimes when we write our list of, how we want life to go, especially, and I'm female, so I'll speak from a female point of view. You know how we write, okay, age 23, you finish school, maybe get your master's, then, find a good guy, the guy must be like this, and then you get married, get that good job, make a lot of money, buy a house, have children. And sometimes God is just looking at you and like, okay, have you finished? Okay. When you are done, come back and meet me. So, but you see, one thing I've noticed, those things are desires, and you might get them, but you might not get them in that order. Exactly. So you might get the husband at 40, but you might get the house at 35. What I'm trying to say to encourage people here is that if you see that house, don't say, I was supposed to get a husband before I get the house, so I will not now get the house. Or I was supposed to take that job, but at this setting, because I remember at a point in my life, I wanted to do my PhD, but I felt I was too young. I was 23. I'm like, who will marry me if I get PhD at 23? Do you get? But now I look at my life, I'm still going to go back and get a PhD. I wish I did it then. Now I'm so busy to even read a book, not to talk of going back to school and all that. So take the opportunities as they come. Don't wait for anything. I will also just give a small story about my career. I remember when I started my career out, the compare was saying 17 years, over 17 years my career. But when I started, I had the opportunities for a better paying job. However, I was like, if I go to a multinational and all, I see the way they work, the way my clients then, so they work very hard, they don't have time. Then I was in what we call an agency. I was in a PR firm then. And I was like, I have flexibility. So you know what? I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. And then when my kids are like 5, 6 years, I'll now move to a multinational, And then I got married. 5.5 years, 6 years, no kids. I had to stop and think. I'm like, what are you doing? Strike while the iron is hot. You have an opportunity now to move. Don't keep waiting for what you cannot control. And, I took that step. The way my career catapulted in that time, between in the last 14, 15 years, I can just imagine if I had been holding out. So strike while the iron is hot. You might not have number 2, go to number 5. You don't have number 6, go to number 10. God brings the list. He will give you your heart's desires in different ways. And don't be too fixated. And that's why I was saying success is not about the end goal.
I recall then I was in commercial class. And one of my teachers saw my math script. And she said, this person must be in science class. And another teacher told her that, no, she's in commercial class. Those days when they look down on commercial people. So the teacher called me and she was surprised that why am I wasting? I can never forget what she said. Now, why are you wasting resources in commercial class? In fact, she asked me to bring my parents. So my dad came and he asked me, thank God that he's not the kind of father that forces a particular thing. And I said, I'm not changing. In fact, I was almost confused at some point. I wanted to change. But I went back and I prayed. And I came back to her and I said I wasn't changing. Cutting the long story short, I knew what I wanted to do. But in life, like you said, the journey is not a straight line. There are times in our journeys that we go through difficulties at work. There are some times that we join some organizations and we're thinking like, oh my goodness, how come I did this? There are times, and I want to give a particular story. Sometimes back in some few years ago, I joined a company, but at some point I was not the values were not aligned. So I had to leave. I was out of job for over a year. And that period was a defining moment for me, because that was what led to me just tapping into the other potentials that even brought me to this place today. So sometimes we go through experiences in life, not the way we have planned. So I'm encouraging you now. If you are going through a detour in your career, there's something else that you need to build. There's something else that you need to work on, to develop. And it could be the legacy that will help you in future. I built that legacy, this legacy that I'm still working on during that period. It felt like a stop. It felt like a full stop, but I turned that full stop into a comma and a semicolon. And the journey continues. So I just want to encourage you today, whatever you are going through, there's a purpose. And you can transform that experience, right, into something else that will work for you, that will take you to places and platforms in the future. So I'm wishing you all the best today.
Thank you. Okay, my response would also be a yes and a no, like our first respondent. So the thing is, where I envisaged like I was going to be is a bit different from where I am today. So I also started off like in sciences, then when it looks like you're intelligent, your parents will always go like, you're going to be a doctor. So I also started off like that. But the very first physics exam I wrote in SS1, the score made my teacher write drop physics. So I quickly had to advise myself. So at that point, I advised myself, like, okay, so it's not that. Funny enough, my family didn't know I had switched. I just moved into commercial. My family didn't know I had switched. They only knew when it was time for me to write JAMB, to register JAMB. And I told them, I'm not in sciences. They were like, how? So even at that, even despite the fact that I was in commercial class, I was actually competing with those in science. The best of the students in science, I was actually competing head-on with them. So even my teachers then, just like you said, would go like, what are you doing here? One day I came to school and my classmate had pushed my chair outside. Like, you don't belong here. Don't come back to this class. So it was like that. But, by the time I went into commercial and they were like, okay, so what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. What's the best course in commercial? They said accounting. I said, I'll do accounting. So, but when I saw my brother-in-law doing economics and the way he was working in central bank, the way they were treating him, I say economics it is. So that was how I went into economics, my life story. So, but then, the commercial thing has actually paid off for me. The first time when we did Echo 202 and my lecturer taught us about multinationals, that was what sparked my interest in multinationals. I came home very excited that day and told my mother that I will work in a multinational. My mother was like my biggest cheerleader in this life. And she was like, of course you can. Those people that are working there, do they have two heads? So, and that encouraged me. By the time I started working, actually it's been multinationals all through, just like that. So it's basically divine design. And I've been, doing a lot to improve myself. At the end of the day, I think the best thing is just to try to be the best version of yourself, wherever you find yourself. So, and that is what I've always been striving to do, just to be the best version of myself. So basically, that's what.
Thank you very much. Is our participant available to? Okay, she can go ahead. Okay, the question is, being at the top of your career and being the best at what you do, is this the life and career that you envisioned for yourself? And if not, what was the deviation and at what point in time did the deviation happen? Did she get the question? Okay, so let's move on. Okay, I want to ask the audience. There was a repeating aspect of all what they said. I don't know if anybody picked on it. If somebody can just tell us, there's a particular repeating thing that they mentioned. All four of them actually mentioned it as they were giving their testimony in this last question. Nobody? Yes, please. Is there a microphone? Good afternoon. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Did you hear what she said? So in this life, you may have plans. This is what you want to achieve. And like she said, you have a template of how you want your life to go. Doesn't necessarily mean that it will happen that way. And like she said, number 10 can come before number 2. Okay? So we shouldn't be stuck on waiting for number 2 to happen before we can move on to number 3. We can move on knowing that. And there's another thing they also mentioned, faith. All three of you mentioned faith. Having faith in God. I want to believe that maybe we all believe in God, right? And that plays a great role as well in trying to find your path in life, right? Because if you key into God's plan for you, I believe you would achieve all you want to achieve. And then we should realize that we are accountable only to ourselves. If you don't take that step now to achieve what you want to achieve in life, you have nobody to blame. You cannot blame and say, oh, I had children, I was taking care of children. That is, no. If your children will say, Mommy, did we ask you to take care of us? You cannot put that blame on them. Mommy, don't put it on me. It's not me. It's you that chose to. Right? Some people shelve their careers and say, oh, I'm a mother. I just need to face my children. And then in life, they now start blackmailing or emotionally blackmailing the children. All I did for you. This is how you're treating me. I left my 9-to-5 job. They will ask you, Mommy, did I ask you to leave your 9-to-5? You chose to. Right? You chose to. So in achieving, remember, first of all, before you were a mother, even before you were a wife, you were a woman. And you had dreams and aspirations. You should also put that in your plan of life as you're moving ahead. And so that at the end of the day, we can all look back and say, yes, I lived a well-fulfilled life. All right? Okay, so now we'll be going to the individual questions. And I'll be starting with Bawo, right? That's your first name, Bawo? Okay. So I'll be starting with you. Yeah, so in fact, I was speaking to some women recently, about an issue regarding perimenopause. Do we know the word I'm sure we're familiar with menopause, but do we know perimenopause? Okay, so perimenopause is what comes before menopause. It's actually the same symptoms, but it starts at a younger time, like let me say from age 35. And it can last for like 15 years. So even before you reach menopause, you're already experiencing perimenopause. It's just hormonal changes in the woman's body where she begins to go, I don't want to use the word decline, right? But she just begins to have some certain changes before she now hits menopause, right? So I was having a discussion with them, and there are so many factors that come in perimenopause, depression for some people, lack of zeal to do anything. And they were like, is there no treatment? Because usually when you go to the hospital, they'll tell you, it's just a normal thing, just deal with it, So, and they were asking, is there no treatment for it? Because that if it was a male issue, that they believe that they would have found a cure or a solution to it. But is it because it's a woman's issue? That's why they've just left us to our, So the question I want to ask is, in your line of work, being a senior management at M Pharma, right? And working towards affordable quality healthcare access for all. What do you see as the maternal and overall health conditions affecting women today and impeding their achievement of success in life and career? What should we change? Do we need to change anything? Do we need to improve individually and systematically? What do we need to do as women?
Thank you for that question. And just to touch on your, initial comments about the perimenopause, I think, we're getting a lot more awareness for this. And it's really centered around first understanding that there's actually a problem there, and that women do go through this, because a lot of young women don't even know that it's a thing. Yes. Yeah. So that awareness is the first thing. Are we aware? And then what are we doing about it? Where are we getting our information from, right? So how are we managing those symptoms, right, that we experience? So for example, if you're experiencing the depression or the mood swings, what are you doing about it? So that it then doesn't affect the quality of your life and your interactions with family, your children and others. Yeah, so that's there. But I mean, if there's anyone who is then managing that, obviously speak to your doctor and a trusted person who has gone through that. But sometimes people who have experienced this are
the best.
Yeah, our sounding board. Yeah, exactly. So for your second question, what we see, because at M Pharma we manage a portfolio of pharmacies, and what we are seeing, we see the typical, right? We see the typical communicable diseases, your cough, cold, women will come in with all of that, malaria. We're seeing the maternal health-related challenges, like you mentioned, the uterine fibroids, perimenopause, hormonals, and all of that. But I think what is the major and most concerning health challenges that we're beginning to see are the non-communicable diseases, and these are your hypertension and your diabetes, because for some of us will think, okay, it will happen later in life. We expect that if they say someone has hypertension, perhaps the person is 70. Yes. But we're seeing more and more younger women presenting with these issues. Sometimes unmarried women are presenting with these issues. And it's centered around social economic factors, right? Awareness. If I do a quick, lifestyle. If I do a quick poll and say, how many of us here have had our blood pressure and blood sugar levels taken in the last 6 months? By show of hand. And not today, I know we have a stand today. And today you can check your blood pressure and check your blood sugar levels if you've not. But how many of us have done that in the last 6 months? Can I see your hands up? Just a handful. Why is it not everybody? Right? So we're seeing that. And, as you mentioned, the lifestyle, the stress, there's a lot of stress now. It's not, the times are not as it was, a decade ago, or, it's not, there's a lot of stress out there. And, we talked about the women wearing many hats. Your children are not doing well, it stresses you. You're, having to cope at work, it stresses you. What are we doing to then proactively manage or avoid coming down with these health challenges, right? It's number one, we said the lifestyle by design. Knowing your body, each woman is different. I love the song and I love, the session, that she had, when she said, I am enough. Understanding yourself as a woman, understanding your body, as a young lady, we have the young ladies here, and being proactive. Are you exercising? Are you having a good diet? Are you having enough sleep? How are you managing stress? Are you taking 15 to 20 minutes of me time? Even the teens complained about that as well.
Being swamped.
Yes, being overwhelmed and with the pressures on them, pressures to achieve, pressures from parents and in their education. So we are all facing this, but are we taking steps? Are we being intentional about ensuring that we are doing our blood pressure checks, doing our blood sugar checks, exercising, eating healthy, not just processed foods and, fatty foods? Are we eating vegetables? Are we eating fruits? I wish we could go back to the old times, right?
Organic.
Yes, organic and fresh. I was trying to get my daughters to start taking dates in place of sugar. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. It's been a tough battle, but they're getting there. But, we have a lot of natural, fruits and vegetables and, things that we can use in our food that is very healthy. Not just the sugars, not just the processed meals. How are we doing that? How are we looking at just ensuring that our diet is balanced? We know about these things, but are we actually doing what we need to do? Are we being intentional to ensure that our life is, we're going in the right direction health-wise?
Yes. Thank you, Bao. Being intentional about our lifestyle, what we eat, what we do to maintain a good health is very important. Okay, so we move on to Cassandra. Cassandra, you are the head external communications, media and partnerships, Reckitt Sub-Saharan Africa, right? That's dedicated to the business of hygiene and sanitation. I have almost 2 decades experience, yes? How have you been able to communicate balance or the need for balance for your own needs, your family, and your career? We've talked about balancing the home, our lives, and our career so that one doesn't suffer for the other.
So I think for me it's about honesty. That's the first thing. One thing I have learned along the years is I'm not scared to have tough conversations. And tough conversations mean also being true to who you are. I've said it so much today, being true to who you are. If I can't do it, I can't do it. And for you to build, before you get to the stage of saying I can't do it, you must have proven yourself diligently and shown yourself to be a hard worker and ambitious. So when you say I can't do it, you honestly can't do it. And they say, I know this person, I've seen her character. I know that if she says she can't do it, it's because she really can't. Because on a normal day, she will. So the first thing I have done over the years is to honestly communicate. Or I don't think I will be able to make it. But what I do is that whenever I have the time, I always take on extra. So as much as possible, I take on extra. They call me chief of special projects in my office because I'm the one that does everything. End of year conference, blah, blah, blah. I do everything. I do all the things in between. I don't do, this is not my father's business. No, I treat it as my father's business, even though it's not. So one thing I will always advocate for is honestly communicating. And then the second thing I will say is also knowing your limits. Don't do more than you can. Don't listen to anybody. Don't look at what society is saying. Sometimes there's a time in my life that I thought I had to be in so many clubs, so many groups. I needed to network. It's not by force. Don't kill yourself. Don't spend all your money networking. Do you understand? Because the more you're in all these groups, you're in all these networks, you pay dues here, association fees here, then there's one event back to back, then you don't even have time for your family. I have parents, I have a husband, I have siblings, I have loved ones that I want to be there for. So the first thing, like I said, is honestly communicate what I can do. The second thing is know my limits. And sometimes I'm like, I just can't. Anything you want to do, I cannot. So that's something I do. And I think finally I would say, in terms of balance, is knowing that there's a time and season for everything. Not everything must be done at the same time. There was a season where my foundation was everything for me. I was giving a lot into that foundation. That was a birthing season for me. There was a season when, at the time in my career, I needed to prove my worth about who I am and what I stand for. So I gave it, and some things suffered. I outsourced. If it's cooking, I outsourced. I love cooking, but I didn't mind buying soup bowls at that time in my life because I was so busy. So you always know when is a season. There's a season when I think in this season, my husband needs me as a wife more than anything else. Or my health, I need to prioritize my health in this season. So just the 3 things to take away in terms of balancing. Number 1, honestly communicate what you can and you cannot do. 2, know your limits. Know thyself. That's the first true life lesson. Know thyself. So know your limits. And number 3, know your seasons. When is the season for you to stretch yourself? When is the season not to stretch yourself? Thank you.
Know when to say no, and not taking so much at a time. All right. I don't know if Mary is available to answer her question. Is she? Is she available? She's available. Okay. And she can hear us. All right. So for Mary works in a leading tech-driven media platform as Chief of Staff, Head of Strategy at Bella Naija. The digital realm and AI innovation are radically upending all facets of work, family life, and play. In fact, they tell us that AI is coming for all our jobs, right? Isn't it what they say? And when you go on social media, there's always this pop-up that comes in. Are you AI certified? If not, you're going to lose your job and all that. So we want to ask Mary, how can women take advantage of this transformation that AI is bringing into the workplace and position themselves for success? Is she speaking? Not yet. All right, so let's move ahead whilst we wait for there to be a connection. Now for Oluwatoyin, right? Oluwatoyin, is she speaking? Yeah. Yes, the interference is okay, so let's move ahead. We'll still give her grace if there's time for her to speak. Okay. So for Oluwatoyin, you have had a long career in finance and you are currently the finance director at MasterCard Foundation, a leading global non-profit organization. Financial constraints often impede successful achievement for women, right? Whether as entrepreneurs or even as salaried workers. What advice can you give women across the age spectrum? So we are talking about even from teenagers to old mamas, right? To be financially stable, independent, and position themselves for success. Because what I've noticed is that when it comes to financial intelligence or financial knowledge, most times women are not knowledgeable at all. So women end to spend. You hardly see women investing. So we know there are money markets now. There are so many avenues where women can begin to save and invest, apart from the adjust that we know that women do. So can you advise us on that?
Thank you so much for that thoughtful question. When it comes to financial intelligence, the starting point is for you to acquire knowledge. We're in a digital economy. Information is available to everyone. So we don't even have excuses. So the first thing I will say is you need to be financially literate. Seek knowledge to understand. And when you understand, you can do better. Now, the knowledge is around the flow of money. We all know that money is a tool. Is a tool. I hope we all agree.
Yes, it is.
But you are the driver of that money. You tell your money where to go to. Exactly. So if you are not a good driver, you know what happens? If you are not driving well, there will be accidents. So to avoid financial accidents, you need to be financially literate, seek knowledge, understand how money works. And how does money work? You need to understand the framework. How are you making money? How are you managing money? And how are you multiplying the money? So when it comes to earning, making the money, how many sources of income do you have? And you can either be a salary earner or you are running a business. So when you're a salary worker, you are actively in that business, or you're trading your time for money. If you're running a business, is a whole different business model that you have to follow. But understand how money is coming in and how money is going out. And look at how many sources of income do you have, right? You can have passive income where you earn money indirectly. You can be sleeping and be earning money. Exactly. And that is where you have your savings, you are managing your money, you have expenses, you are managing the money, right? Now, if you are not very intentional about how you are managing the money, and the major problem we have as women is expenses. Expenses, exactly. We earn to spend.
Yes.
So you have to be able to control. And the problem is we are trying to impress people that don't even care about us. Anytime there's a salary increase, your lifestyle will change. You want to, let me give an example to just bring it to life. At some point in my career, I was even a director. I became a director since 2010. We were living in Shomolu, a 3-bedroom flat. There was this 4-bedroom duplex that we saw around Bagada. And I think the rent then was around 2 million. But when we did the math, it was not matching. Exactly. So we said no. My principle is I don't owe anybody any apology. Yes. If you can adopt that, then you'll be free from all these sentiments. Mm-hmm. At that point in time, we left the house. Mm-hmm. We left it because it was not time. Another area is school fees. Yeah. Where are you putting your children? Mm-hmm. Your rent. If your salary cannot pay your rent, then you are in trouble. If you have to save a whole year's salary to pay rent, there's problem. So these are some of the holes that we need to plug as women. Understanding our expenses. In fact, there's something that I discovered lately. And there's a principle to it. You know, sometimes we go to the market, we want to buy things. And now there's Instagram. And things are just popping. So if you see anything you want to buy, just wait for 3 or 4 days. And just check, is that desire still there? Most times it will die off. But at that immediate moment you want to do it, You want to change your wardrobe. Are you buying 4 clothes at the same time? You know, that euphoria of new things. 4 clothes at the same time. You feel it and you are off to the
Mine
next.
is insatiable. You can never
Exactly.
satisfy.
You
what
want to
your
buy
needs.
the next thing. You know what I've done lately? I now created an album in my phone. So all the clothes that I've worn, I put them there. If I see anyone, I go to that folder and check. No, I have this color. I'm not buying. So we all have to devise. The reason why I'm spending time here is because if we can manage our expenses, then we will have savings that we can invest.
Absolutely.
The other area is around savings. Automate your savings. Before it gets to your hand, move it to a different account. And the account you're moving it to, please avoid ATM. Don't have an app. Just leave it, right? That you have to get into a bank before you can withdraw. So you will be discouraged, right? Now, when it comes to investment is technical and is also very simple. You need to, when you're taking investment decision, please consider your age. Consider the risk appetite. Yes. Consider your peace of mind as well. So because most times you can't be planning to pay your rent by end of the year and you are going to invest in stock. If there's a reduction in the value of the stock, then you are done for. Or you have to pay school fees or rent, right? So you have to match the investment timing with the needs. I can talk about that from now till tomorrow, but we don't have time. Right, yes. But what is critical is this: be consistent. Make sure you look at how money is coming in and going out. The other critical thing that you have to do, and I'll stop there, is on networking and leveraging opportunities, but be strategic so that you don't experience burnout. I can tell you, in fact, I met someone again today and she told me that, and please understand, yes, qualification matters, but there are some doors that your qualifications will not open, but relationship will open those doors. And I'm a living example. Let me stop with this story. I was working in Airtel at some point in time. You know, finance and commercial, we're always fighting. They see us as, oh, these people are police. But I related in a different manner. After I left the place, there was a recruiter looking for somebody else in Airtel. He reached out to a colleague. The colleague told the recruiter, I have a better person. The recruiter was not looking for me. And I was not in Airtel. I had left. But the experience I left made somebody to recommend me when I was not even the one in the room. I was not in the room. So relationship matters. You have platforms, your LinkedIn, your Instagram. What are you doing on those platforms? I've gotten international speaking engagements on LinkedIn. I've gotten job opportunities on LinkedIn. Please leverage your networks. Let me stop there. Thank you
very much. The key thing I'm going to say about what she said is that if you don't earn like that person you admire, don't spend like them. If you don't earn like them, don't spend like them. All right. So we'll move on to the last question for you, Roslyn. So as the marketing director at Imperial International Limited in the business of beauty, right? Critics of the industry speak about how it creates unrealistic standards and opens the door for self-criticism. What advice would you give women on having and improving self-confidence towards successful achievement?
Yeah, thank you very much. The truth is, it kind of seems like the beauty industry has done more harm than good. But the challenge there is, I think, how we as women actually interpret these things and, take them onto ourselves. When we talk about beauty and maybe using beauty products, is it to enhance us or is it to validate us? So basically, if we are using those beauty products to enhance ourselves. Of course, that's what they are meant for. It's meant to, help us enhance the way we feel, enhance our confidence. The downside is when we start, taking up those things, looking for validation. And when there is no validation, the person starts feeling bad. Before you know it, mental health. The person feels everybody hates me, nobody loves me, and those kind of things. Nobody's admiring you to say, you look really pretty today.
Because we see today women doing BBL, doing all sort of things to their bodies so that they are just acknowledged and validated,
Exactly. So that validation is where the problem is. That's where the problem is. So first, as women, we need to love who we are. Love yourself the way you are. My Bible tells me I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I work in the beauty industry, but well.
We end on that note. We end on love who you are. Just like what her beautiful song, Madam, your beautiful song said, I am enough. I am enough. So we cannot affect our past. So we're here in this conference now, listening to all that has been said. And you may be wondering, some of us may be wondering, I've missed my opportunity. No, you have not. Today is another opportunity to start again. All right? So you cannot affect what has happened in the past up till yesterday. But guess what? You can begin to change it from today. And I hope that by the time we'll see again next year, we would have progressed and become much better women to the glory of God. We end this year. Thank you very much. Thank you, my beautiful panelists. It was wonderful speaking with you all.
So the next speaker is a distinguished counseling psychologist and the national president of the Counseling Association of Nigeria. With extensive academic and professional experience, her work centers on emotional intelligence, counseling practice, and personal development. She has received multiple recognitions for her contributions to leadership, humanitarian services, and psychological well-being across Africa. Her session, which we'll be talking on, is Emotional Intelligence, a key to designing a mindful and balanced life. Will offer valuable insight for navigating life with greater awareness and balance. Ladies and gentlemen, to this lovely crowd, please put your hands together as we make welcome on stage Dr. Mrs. Celine Njoku.
To God be the glory. Our God is good. And all the time, I salute my daddy, Dede, and mommy. I salute everyone here. It's a great thing to be here today and to listen to human beings. Human beings. From my paper, I started with the goals. But I will not read the goals. The goals of being here, the objectives of being here, and the relevant quotes. And I congratulate all the speakers because one mentioned something about Mother Teresa. Somebody who mentioned that is enough. Under the relevant quotes, we have, be happy in the moment. That's enough. Mother Teresa. Is Mother Teresa here? Hello, ma. You are our Mother Teresa of Uri. I am enough. Are you enough? Yes, I am enough. Everybody, are you enough? Are you enough? Are you enough? Let's go. Let's go. My topic on this great day is I salute everyone here, especially the women. You know, in the creation by Almighty God. Oh, my time is 10 minutes. Please don't start checking me, please. Every woman, every man has one qualification, and every woman has two qualifications. The manhood in us and the womanhood in us. This place is the compartment of the womb. And this is the manness. A man is a man, full down, only one qualification. And every woman has two qualifications. The manhood and the wombhood, known as woman. Please. My time is only 10 minutes. I don't know. The womb man. Woman. Made up of the womb and the manness. Can I go on? So my topic on this great day is emotional intelligence. And I heard somebody mention about financial intelligence. I say, wow. So we have financial intelligence too. Yes. So mine is emotional intelligence, key to designing a mindful and balanced life. I've already sent my PowerPoint. I don't know what is happening. At times, what you wish may not come like that. According to Albert Ellis, a psychologist, he propounded a theory, REPT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. Things may not work as you wish. What do? Do you commit suicide? No, you move ahead. Emotional intelligence is an essential part of a whole person. It is the ability to identify and manage your own feelings and the feelings of others. Emotions drive people. People drive strength. These feelings can be seen as the power source, which brings about strength in people, in the workplace, and in your personal life. But it starts with you. Indeed, the main team, transparently and obviously, has a connectivity with this sub-team, going by the law of nature, that emotions influence how we think, behave, and connect with others. But without mindfulness, unchecked emotions can lead to more stress and adversely affect the well-being. Just as prices of commodities are going high, conditions of living visible and bearable, then only the strong mind survives. Unfortunately, a non-serious lifestyle of self-care with emotionally imbalanced life of misunderstanding and even long-term strain on our mental health and relationships should be mindful of. People of mindful management of emotions cultivate balanced life. In a world increasingly driven by intellectual achievement and technological advancement, the human dimensions of empathy, awareness, and emotional regulations often take a secondary role. The mindfulness and emotional intelligence are to converge to cultivate a balanced individual, one who integrates intellect with empathy. Based on the above discourse, the presenter deemed it apt and germane to bring to bear emotional intelligence, key to designing a mindful and balanced life. In an age where artificial intelligence and automation redefine human capability. Again and again, it is the mindful, emotionally intelligent individual who will lead with design, wisdom, and heart. Please permit me, I am just like a robot here because it's only 10 minutes. This is not real CNN. Sele Nwabweze Njoko. So, in every intellectual paper, it must start with the definition of the concepts. And what is the first concept? Emotions. According to Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC, wrote, emotions are all those feelings. Remember, emotions, they are starting from your heart. Emotion starts from the heart. Your feelings. So, if you now put another person's feeling on the same table with your own and consider the other person, you are now showing emotionally intelligent woman whom you are. But the moment you say, I don't bloody care, you are not emotionally intelligent. The same thing with social. When you go for your children's party, you dress like them. At that point, you are dressing like them. You are socially intelligent. Tomorrow is Salah. Those of us from Catholicism, Christians, you send messages. Baraka de Salah. Allah kawo alheri. You are trying to show that you are spiritually what? Intelligent. But today we have to focus it on emotional intelligence. According to Aristotle, emotions are those feelings that so change men as to affect their judgments, and that are also attended by fear or pleasure, pain or pleasure, such as anger, pity, fear, and the like, with their opposites. The lady that was, oh, my time is small. The lady that mentioned something about menopause, she did not mention about the andropause for the men. Please, hold it there. Anger can lead you to premenopausal signs. Only anger. So, Aristotle is telling us about depression, about all these things. You know, when you brush up and be intelligent to yourself, you know that everything is good. When Almighty God created everything, he looked back and said, this is good. But the moment he created a human being, he said, this is very good. Intelligence. It is the aggregate or global capacity of an individual to act purposely, to think rationally. I have mentioned it according to Albert Ellis. Be a rational human being. I can just come up here. One of the Osigwes will just climb up and slap me. It does happen. The moment you look at yourself and say, why me? You are irrational. Because everything can happen. Anything can happen at any time. Your children can disappoint you. Your spouse can disappoint you. Anybody can disappoint you. So you have to be rational in many things you are doing. Another definition concept is intelligence. Intelligence also simply means as cognitive ability. Coming from here. Cognitive ability, knowledge ability, reasoning ability, application ability. The next concept is emotional intelligence, whereby you understand, you recognize your emotions, your feelings, your triggers of your own and another person's own. Broadly, why do we say that emotional intelligence is very important, very germane? It is because it helps you to manage your feelings. It helps you to understand, recognize yours and others. At a personal level, it helps you to have uncomfortable conversation without hurting feelings. At that time, you manage. You are not mumu. You are not a coward. At the work level, it helps us to resolve conflicts. Helps us as coach, like Didi is a coach. Help us to motivate others. Didi brought me into this forum and other fora. It helps you to create culture of collaboration at the working place and what is designing. Almighty God is the undesigned designer. We are his creatures. So we can design and also redesign. When a woman is pregnant, God has made it that when the fluid from the male comes with the egg of the female, a human being is supposed to emerge. But this woman can redesign it, whereby the mouth of the baby will now be on the head. So what I'm trying to say is, God has made us in his own image and likeness. Imago Dei. We can also create and redesign and design. Like the committee that formed this thing. They look at it and what is design? Creating, planning, and shaping solutions. Considering the needs of the target audience. Emotional quotient. Emotional quotient is an instrument in supporting and promoting person's IQ, intelligent quotient, for balancing life. You need to apply it. And what is the mind? There is no place in your body where you have location of the mind. The mind is everywhere. And where do you get it? The brain houses the thinking faculty. Husband, no perfect wife, no perfect occasion. We are just managing. We are just getting closer to nearness of perfection. A balanced life is a changing state of harmony. Changing state of harmony with where you work, your health, your personal growth, and relationship. That is it. When where you work, you have harmony, not disharmony. Your health is harmonized. Your relationship is harmonized. Then you have a balanced life. But when you concentrate on one, you may not have it. A woman came to me one day and said, "Doctor, please, I want to stop selling tomato and onions." I said, "What will you be doing?" He said, "My husband is in Abuja carrying women." I said, "You will suffer from low stress, hypostress. You will suffer from hypostress because stress is for us. Man is for stress. Stress is for man. And what is the definition of stress? When human beings are trying to modify the environment, they have stress. When the environment is trying to modify you, you have stress. Madam, let the music of stress go on. The one you should not pray for is distress. Let your husband be there. This one, you are carrying tomato, and your children are going to the university. We call it stress. At the end of it, something good comes out. The opposite is the distress. Please, women, listen to me attentively. Whatever you are doing that is stressful, let it go on. Major determinants. Let the music of stress go on. Even when a baby is born, the baby is stressful. Disengaging from one environment to another environment. What are you talking about? Put styles, put life in nature. God is good. Major determinants of a balanced life. How do we know that you have a balanced life? Your life care, your self-care, your leisure, your physical health, your spirituality, your heart, your social, your own self. And what are the coping strategies? Set clear boundaries. Be flexible. Practice self-care. Define your personal priorities. Emotional intelligence is apt, a good to go for self-balancing life. What does it mean? It operates through 4 components. And what are the 4 components of emotional intelligence? Self-awareness. You have to be aware of yourself. And that self-awareness is the foundation. The second one is self-regulation. That's the manager. You manage what goes in your body, what goes around you. Then the third one is the self-motivation, the drive. The fourth one, empathy. Try to find out why the other person is saying why. Empathy. The fifth one is the communication. Now join me to hear what these philosophers say about self. Plato. The unexamined life is not worth living. He's talking about self. Please look at your neighbor and say, the unexamined life is not worth living. It's okay. Look at the Socrates now. Look at on the other side. Man, if there's a man or a woman, it's in generic form. Man, know thyself. Please, my time. Now, to your own self, according to Shakespeare, to myself, Celine, be true. Tell yourself, to myself, be true. Because I am enough. Good. Now, we have all seen the components of emotional intelligence. How does emotional intelligence foster mindful, balanced life? It does. In the working place, it helps you to collaborate. It helps you to work in team. The next one is stress management. Please be able to manage your own stress. Even when you work under pressure cooker situation. apply APLOB. And what is APLOB? APLOB is that condition that is too harsh on you, yet you put up confidence. Emotional intelligence helps you to be mindful in the area of mindful integration. Practicing mindfulness, being present in that judgment enhances self-regulation. The number 4th one is thoughtful decision making. When you are making your decisions, don't look at the other person, because the other person is coming from another center of creation. Just like in marriage. No two marriages are the same. Because the wife from that level is coming from another creation to another point of production. So don't look at anybody when you are making decisions, and make sure your mind is cool, is very calm. Then, before my conclusion, Dr. Selin Njoko, please can you give us a design mindful practices skills for a balanced life? 1, digital detox. Remove certain things that you have now assumed as God from yourself. Electronic devices, take them off. Mindful breathing. Anytime I go into a studio or I go into any fora, if somebody does like this, I take it up from there. Something is happening within you. You are into a deep struggle. Please try to rewind. What did you hear? What did you see? If those things are not palatable to you, delete them from your memory bossa, from your brain, and be free. So mindful walking, the way you walk, you don't just walk anyhow. Walk lively. Put styles in the way you walk. So that is mindful walking. You have a balanced life. The way you walk shows whether you are balanced or not. Mindful eating, you are what you eat. Mindful listening, give listening ears. Be approachable to the other person. Show gratitude. Dede is not here. The Osigwes, the organizers. When you are just living, you just say thank you. God bless you. As you are saying it, God is blessing you yourself. The giver. Loving kindness, meditation. Cultivate feelings of love. Try to respond in any platform you are. Congratulations. It's a sad. Rest in peace. Oh, thank you very much. More wins. As you are saying it, you are looking younger. Yes, yes. Mindful journaling. Yes, I'm now in conclusion. Mindful journaling. Write down your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Simply observe them curiously. Conclusion. Plato was definitely into something when he said human behavior flows from 3 main sources: desires, emotions, and knowledge. Brainy quote. Emotions can be a valuable source of knowledge. It influences your thoughts and your life, as we have seen in this paper. Emotional intelligence plays a critical role in enhancing mindful well-being by improving your relationships, facilitate positive decisions and behaviors. That helps us realize success in our field of endeavors. Mindful of our emotions, mental wellness, and resolve relationships conflicts. There must also be conflict. Let the music of conflict go on. In every human being, there is always conflict. Selling, conflict A, conflict B. Selling A, selling B, they are always in conflict. Will you go for that conference? Will you not go? There's always conflict. So, when you hear conflicts, don't spene. It's part of the music. Mindful of your emotions, mental awareness, and resolve relationship conflicts in health, constructive ways. Mindfulness and emotional intelligence represent 2 slices of the same human coin: awareness and empathy. Together, they enable a profound balance between intellect and emotion, thought and feeling, analysis and compassion. In an age where artificial intelligence and automation redefine human capacity, it is the mindful, emotionally intelligent individual who will lead with wisdom and heart. Cultivating this quality in our homes, schools, organizations, leadership, religious institutions, and societies. This is not just a psychological endeavor, but a moral, imperative one that redefines what it truly means to be intelligent. This year, 2026, marks youth as pilgrims of hope. This presentation is a message of hope and care for everyone, especially for the youth at heart. For they belong to the future, just as the future belongs to them. As sailors in the ocean, need the lighthouse to navigate the vast oceans, to reach a safe harbor. The youth, humans, as pilgrims of hope, need the emotional intelligence and mindfulness as moral designing tools, compass, to navigate the torrential terrain in order to arrive safely in the work-life integration that creates designed holistic well-being, setting which offers a transformative approach to nurturing empathy, mindfulness, self-aware, and emotionally balanced individual. Today, 1st of May, Workers' Day, the patron saint is Saint Joseph, most brave, most prudent, most courageous, most obedient, most just, most chaste spouse, most chaste heart. Model of workers, model of workmen. A saint with high intelligent quotient, embodiment of mindful emotional intelligence. Even when they asked him to go and stay with this woman, he never said no. He applied wisdom, emotional intelligence, mindfulness. Let us emulate him. Dear priceless participants, dear priceless guests, dear mindful privileged ladies and gentlemen, you say, Dear mindful privileged ladies and gentlemen of high repute, we are all called to open-minded, to be aware, to be mindful. Ignorance of emotional intelligence is a great enemy for all of us. Shalom. Mindfully yours, Dr. Selin Njoko.